The error that is happened at runtime is called as the exception. So when you write a program, at that timing, there are lot of error will come. Okay, तो जब आप प्रोग्राम लिख रहे हो तो वहां पर आपका एरर आ सकता है. तो कौन सा एरर आएगा? फर्स्ट इज syntax error, logical error, and another is runtime error. So error is of three types: syntax error, logical error, and runtime error. Okay, so right, errors. The error is of three types. One is syntax error. Logical error. Next is runtime error. Next side, in syntax error, gives an heading syntax error. It is a type of error where the keywords are misspelled, and punctuation is omitted. Keywords are misspelled and punctuation is omitted. Like when you write system.out.println, but here, if I not pass the semicolon, then it is called as the punctuation is omitted. So in this line, semicolon is not present. Semicolon is not present. And if I write here small system, it is called the punctuation is omitted. It is called as omitted. So here I write small system. So here keywords are misspelled. Keywords are misspelled. Okay, right? These two examples. Next is logical error. In the logical error, the program is compiled successfully and compiled and executed successfully, but it doesn't give the desired output, right? In logical error, the program is compiled and executed successfully, but it doesn't give the desired output. But it doesn't give the desired output. Okay, so in this program, in the logical error, what it will display? Suppose I write a program. मैं अगर एक program लिख रहा हूँ, ये greater than if A greater than B, then it is displayed. Suppose A is greater, or else it is showing you B is greater, but at the same time, if we give A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 10, then both the value are same. So when both the values are same, then it is not showing you any kind of output. यहाँ पर क्या है, अगर दो अनइक्वल वैल्यू होगा तो आइदर ए ग्रेटर दिखाएगा और बी ग्रेटर दिखाएगा, लेकिन यहाँ पर हम दो इक्वल वैल्यू ले रहे हैं, सो दैट ए आपको शो करेगा क्या ना, आपको शो करेगा दैट बोथ द मतलब यहाँ पर कुछ भी वैल्यू शो नहीं करेगा, मतलब आपका प्रोग्राम करेक्ट है बट ये आपको कोई भी आउटपुट नहीं शो करेगा. सो इट इज कॉल्ड द लॉजिकल एरर. ओके, राइट. Runtime error. In runtime error, the program is compiled, but at the time of execution, it shows an error, right? In the logical error, the program is compiled, but at the time of execution, it shows an error.
Sir, how should it do?
In runtime error, the program is compiled successfully, but at the time of execution, it shows an error. ठीक है, सो रन टाइम एरर में क्या होता है, अगर आप कोई फाइल को ओपन करना चाहते हो, वो फाइल प्रेजेंट नहीं होता है, तो दैट इज अ रन टाइम एरर. इफ यू वांट टू ओपन ए फाइल, द फाइल इज नॉट प्रेजेंट, रन टाइम एरर. देन आप डेटाबेस में कुछ डेटा स्टोर करने के लिए जा रहे हो, लेकिन डेटाबेस कनेक्शन वहां पर क्लोज हो जाता है, तो दैट इज ऑल्सो ए रन टाइम एरर. जैसे कि आप फोन पे पेमेंट करते हो, पेमेंट के टाइम पर आपका नेटवर्क कट गया, तो रिसीवर के पास वो पेमेंट पहुंच नहीं पाएगा, तो ये हो गया रन टाइम एरर. ओके, so these are called as the runtime error. So some of the runtime error includes, right, open a file, example लिखो, open a file, the file is not present. Divide a number with zero. Divide a number with zero. Divide a number वही 0. Want to store the information in the database. Want to store the information in the database. The database connection has closed. So these are the runtime error. So all the exception belongs to the runtime error. Exception means that you are not expecting, but that thing is happening. You are coming from, you are coming with what? Bike, so you are facing an accident. So you are not expecting that is happen with you. So that is a runtime error. When you're coming with a bike, your bike has puncture. That is also a runtime error. Okay. So runtime error is what? Now, all the exception belongs to the runtime error. Means you are not expecting, but that kind of thing is happening. Okay. So right, what is exception? Exception is a type of error which is happen at runtime. Now see that errors and exception. Error is what? Now error is handled to create a reliable application. It result of application bugs. So error is a result of application bugs. It is of beyond the control of application. Okay, means error क्या है ना, वो एप्लीकेशन वो खुद पे खुद इसको कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाएगा. एरर आएगा वो आपको स्टॉप कर देगा एग्जीक्यूशन. Exception is what? That is an error that occurs at runtime abnormal behavior that leads the unpredictable result. It disrupts the normal flow of your application. Normal flow of your application is disturbed in the case of exception. Okay, an error is a type of error that is happen at runtime. It is an abnormal behavior that leads unpredictable result. It disrupts the normal flow of your application. Means there is no error, but at the time of running it is so, or it is not behaving properly. जब आप प्रोग्राम बना रहे हो, कंपाइलेशन हो रहा है, उस टाइम पर कुछ यहाँ पर प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा. लेकिन ये प्रॉब्लम कब आएगा ना, जब ये नॉर्मल फ्लो को डिस्टर्ब करे. ओके, now comes to this, all the error and exception, it comes from throwable class. Throwable is the base class for all errors and exception. Throwable is the base class for all error and exception. One is runtime exception, SQL exception, and IO exception. Okay. In runtime exception, you have arithmetic exception. In IO exception, you have file not found exception. Vijay outlined several useful methods. The main category of exception is one is unchecked exception, another is checked exception. Okay, so all the error and exception, it comes from the throwable. Throwable is the base class for handle all the error and exception. In exception, it has runtime exception, SQL exception, and IO exception. Okay, so write this word figure, and you write one point. Throwable is the base class. ये वाला लिखो, throwable जो बड़ा जिस तरह से वो लिखा गया है. Throwable is the base class. Throwable is the base class for all the exception and errors. ये वाला फिगर कर दो. One is unchecked exception, another is checked exception. So two type of exception we have. One is unchecked exception, another is checked exception. So So in unchecked exception is what or checked exception is what? Suppose बारिश हो रहा है और आप घर में हो, तो मदर वहां पर इंश्योर करेंगे कि आप रेनकोट लेकर जा रहे हो कि अनचेक्ड एक्सेप्शन में आप हॉस्टल में हो, वहां पर कोई नहीं है, सो यू मे हैव टू टेक और मे नॉट हैव टू टेक, नोबडी इज जजिंग फॉर। मतलब हम जब रास्ते में जाते हैं, ट्रैफिक पुलिस होता है तो हम इंश्योर करते हैं हेलमेट है, नहीं तो आगे होता है। ओके, सो दैट वी आर इंश्योरिंग, वी चेक्ड मतलब वहां पर कोई है वो चेक करेगा, अनचेक्ड मतलब वो हम खुद डिसाइड करें, दिस इम्पोर्टेंट टू अस, देन वी वेयर इट। तो unchecked exception occur during the execution of application. Okay, so java.lang.runtime exception, java.lang.error is a type of exception. Okay, so write it. Unchecked exception. It is a type of exception that occurs at the runtime these are also called as the runtime exception that occurs at runtime at the time. Sorry, runtime exception is an exception that occurs at the time of execution. Unchecked exception is an exception that occurs at the time of execution. These are called runtime exception. Runtime exception. These include programming bugs,
So this include
programming bugs, 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 programming bugs such as logic errors or improper use of memory. Improper use of memory. এটা করে রাখলে unchecked exception তো unchecked. Runtime exception are ignored at the time of compilation. Then checked exception. Checked exception is an exception that occurs at compile time. With runtime, it is compile time. Checked exception are the exception that occurs at compile time. It is also called as compile time exception.